series of questions, and I can do it in the time that I have. They're only yes or no questions. I don't want any long elaboration on this because these are very specific, and when you hear them, you'll understand. First of all, in your letter to Mr. Daley, we're talking about the White House, you wrote, quote, "As chairman of our collegial body, I take responsibility for improving the level of our dialogue." Is that true, yes or no?
Yes.
The NRC's Office of Public Affairs, that's the OPA, reports directly to you. This came with the reorganization that we have talked about from up here. So they report directly to you, is that correct?
Correct.
So Elliot Brenner, the director of that office, reports directly to you.
Correct.
Here's what the NRC website says about the OPA. It says the OPA, that's the Office of Public Affairs, manages and directs the agency's public affairs program, providing advice to agency officials and developing key strategies that contribute to increasing public confidence. This includes keeping top management informed of public interest in and news coverage of NRC's regulatory activities, as well as providing timely, clear, and accurate information on NRC activities to the public and the media through news releases, fact sheets, brochures, interviews, web postings, and videos. Now, I say this because I think we can all agree that's what's supposed to be happening. And yet, where's that poster? Bring that in. And yet, some of you may be aware that last Friday evening, Representative Markey, who I guess was your boss at one time, released a report entitled, and I'll read the title of it, "Regulatory Meltdown, How 4 Nuclear Regulatory Commissioners Conspired," that's you four, "conspired to delay and weaken nuclear reactor safety in the wake of Fukushima." Representative Markey, your former boss, said in a statement about the report, this is in this report, quote, "The actions of these 4 commissioners since the Fukushima nuclear disaster has caused a regulatory meltdown that has left America's nuclear fleet and the general public at risk. Instead of doing what they have been sworn to do, these 4 commissioners have attempted a coup on the chairman and have abdicated their responsibility to the American public to assure the safety of America's nuclear energy." That's in this report. I have an email that here, and I'm going to ask that it be made a part of the record, an email that was sent by Elliot Brenner, the director of the Public Affairs at the NRC, to a reporter. Now, since that, my staff has contacted other reporters. 3 others have confirmed this. I have to conclude that all reporters were contacted by Elliot Brenner and to receive similar information on this email. And I'd like to have a redacted version of this inserted in the record, which I've already done. I'll read a portion of this email. Now, this is Elliot Brenner talking to reporters. "As we approach the Wednesday hearing," that's the hearing yesterday, "it would be a useful exercise, reporters, to read 2 things. The 1980 reorganization plan with an emphasis on the roles and responsibilities of the commissioners and the director and the chairman, and also the Markey report. I got deep into the Markey thing and found it quite interesting." This was instructions to the reporters covering yesterday's meetings to read this report up here, which it was about the 4 commissioners. Now, I'd say, Chairman Jaczko, do you believe Representative Markey's report is an accurate characterization of the NRC's activities? Do you believe that?
Well, I certainly think it's based on emails from my colleagues, and I was deeply disturbed when I saw the content of many of those emails.
Do you believe that this increases public confidence?
No, I don't, and I think it's unfortunate that some of the communications that were going on with my colleagues,
well, I can't,
unbeknownst to me, were happening, and I think it's
well,
very
you've answered the question that it does not increase public confidence. No, it doesn't. I agree with you on that. I can't tell you how stunned and appalled I am, and I'll use the same characterizations, I suppose, as the chairman, although I'm on the other side of this. The idea that an official spokesman for the agency would encourage the media to read a report that is clearly designed to denigrate 4 commissioners, to attack the agency's credibility and to undermine public confidence, I think it's reprehensible. And I have to echo some of the statements that were made by my colleagues who have served on this committee. I've never seen anything like it on this committee or any other. Now, Chairman Jaczko, when you committed to Mr. Daley to improve the level of dialogue with your colleagues, did he know you were going to use your authority as the agency's official spokesman to encourage media interest in a report that denigrates and personally attacks your colleagues?
I never discussed the issue with Mr. Daley.
So, you didn't talk about this report? Were you aware that this report was being made by Mr. Markey?
I was aware that he had requested emails from my colleagues, and I saw the report after it was completed.
So you were a part of that then?
No, I was not a part of that report.
Well, you weren't. He didn't ask you any questions
The only questions that were asked of my staff or myself had to do with emails that I had provided.
Okay, that's fine. You were aware of the report and the content of the report. Now, in your letter to Mr. Daley, you wrote, quote, I continue to be unbelievably proud of the NRC staff and their single-minded focus on the agency's mission. That's a quote. These staff that you are so proud of, are they the same ones that Representative Markey attacked, saying they conspired with the 4 commissioners to delay the release of and alter the NRC near-term task force report on Fukushima?
I'm not going to comment.
Well, they're senior staff. I mean,
these are Congressman Markey's report, and it's really probably more appropriate to ask him about his statements.
Now, some of your supporters may say, well, it's not illegal. And, they may be correct. A lot of things aren't illegal, but we don't like to have it. It's still not right. And I think you owe an apology to your colleagues and the 4,000 men and women at the NRC. Now, in your letter to Mr. Daley, you wrote, and I'm quoting again, I assure you that I come to work every day to do my job better than the day before. Let me suggest to you, sir, that you reached a depth on Saturday, December 10th, that no NRC chairman has ever reached during my time on this committee. I think when you read the report and you see that the person who answers to you, Mr. Chairman, is the one who is responsible for sending out the statement from this committee. And it's one where he is saying you need to read this report by Representative Markey, who's targeting these 4 commissioners on each side of you, that it's just totally unreasonable that this could be happening. And the fact that he reports directly to you brings you into it, and I hold you just as responsible as I hold Mr. Brenner. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.